members. We had a member ask out quite a while ago, and they thought they had a replacement, but he is not here as of yet. We can hear cases with 4, but be advised, please, you will need 3 out of 4 to be successful. Thank you. Next up, we have election of officers for the Zoning Board of Appeals for this calendar year. We need a nomination for chair, vice chair, and secretary.
I nominate Dan Durham for chairman.
Support.
We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Guess I've got it. Thank you. Next, we need a motion for vice chair. And I can't.
I'll nominate Tony Cook.
And I will support that. We have a nomination and a second for Mr. Cook as vice chair. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? You've got it. You're all set. And for secretary, we need a nomination. We have one person and 1 office left. We can.
Okay. I'd like to nominate Mr. Naskis as the secretary.
And I will support. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? So we have our secretary. Thank you. Next, we have the minutes. Start taking off my binder clips here. We have the approval of our minutes, hopefully, of the 12th of December, which is the last time we were here. That hardly ever happens. Any board members have any feeling on the matter?
Mr. Chair, move to, we approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you.
Support.
Motion support. Anything additional? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried for the minutes. Next, we have tonight's agenda review and approval. We have 2 returning cases and 1 new case. Board members have any concern?
Move to accept the agenda as presented.
And I will support. We have a motion and a support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're out with tonight's agenda. We're all set. So, first case. Get organized here. First case is a returning case, AB 2022-30, Adam Martin at 2936 Saturn Drive, 09-20-453-024, postponed from the August 8th and October 10th and December 12th meetings. So he's been on the agenda 3 times. Petitioner seeking 3 variances in zoning ordinance 78, zoned R2, Article 27, Section 27.02, A4, and Article 27, Section 27.05, H2. Number 1 is a 35-foot front yard setback variance from the required 35 feet to erect a 6-foot privacy fence 0 feet from the property line along Walden Road. Number 2 is a 10-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10 feet to erect a 6-foot privacy fence 0 feet from the side property line to the east. And number 3 is a 10-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10 feet to erect a 6-foot privacy fence 0 feet from the side property line to the west. Mr. Martin, come on up, introduce yourself, and let us know what's going on. There's a button down at the bottom of the,
Green light, right at the base of the microphone.
There we go. 1, 2, 8.
there we go.
All right, Adam Martin, 2936 Saturn Drive. So not a whole lot of movement for me on this situation between the HOA and the other parties that were originally interested. I think I'm the last standing interest in the group of cases that came before you 5 months ago. So in this case, the only practical difficulty I have left to present is that I currently have 2 front yardage because my backyard butts up to Walden Boulevard. I'm asking for a variance. My practical difficulty to take into account that my backyard be considered a backyard and not a front yard removing the 40-foot requirement and making it a 10-foot from the property line in order for me to erect a 6-foot fence.
That, isn't going to help you, I don't think, but that type of interpretation is almost universal. I work in another town in ordinance enforcement, and that's the way we have to look at it. If you front on two roads, you get two fronts. And most times it doesn't matter unless you want to do something different. There was talk at one time that you might be speaking with your HOA. They've pretty much stood in their spot. They haven't done
Yeah, I
much.
think what they've come down to is that they can't amend the bylaws. They've missed their window to amend any of the bylaws for the association itself. And there's concern that if they approve that, then there's financial repercussions for the HOA that can be incurred. So I think there was a lot of confusion in this situation, not a lot of interest to pursue it, and there really hasn't been much conversation about it over the past 2 months.
Have you given any more thought to a 4-footer?
Yeah, it's just, I got a 6-footer on the left side of me, and on the right side, obviously, he was trying to get a fence. I think it would just look matchy-patchy if it was the case. I'm actually gonna pursue possibly putting in a pool, you know, and just going that route.
Because you have other alternatives, a 4-foot backed up with a row of arborvitaes on the inside, you still get your 6 feet.
I actually have a row of arborvitaes within the first 6 feet of the backside of that property, along with a lot of foliage. That's why putting the fence behind that and possibly doing some architectural lighting could probably beautify the walking path right in that area.
How tall are the ones you have in now?
8 foot, I think they've gotten. When I planted them, they were 5 foot, and they've been there 3 years.
So you're looking for a fence pretty much to block off pedestrian passage into your backyard?
Yeah, because in the summertime, I get a lot of coverage. That's fine. In the wintertime, you can see into my living room.
Thank you, board members. Mr. Cook?
This is that proverbial rock and hard place.
And so I appreciate your discussion about the 2 front yards and having to deal with that side yard setback. And I think Mr. Durham directly addressed that piece. I understand that in my previous residence, I lived on a corner and had 2 front yards. So I understand those issues. When you were talking about the HOA and they're not even bringing it up as an agenda item, or is it just kind of?
They've talked about it in, I think, 2 meetings, and I haven't heard it brought up since. Nobody's really pursued it. When we first started looking into it, there were 7 parties that were interested. Only 5 of us actually came to the ZBA. I think 2 people have been denied. I don't know if Ken's gonna show up. 3 people's been denied, 1 because of absence. I think Ken's still in Florida, and to be honest, I don't know if he's even interested anymore. You know, I think his level of involvement is probably minimal at this point, but I can't speak for him. But he isn't here, so it's a good sign. So, like I said, at this point in time, with them talking about it at the meetings, having a group of people that were interested, that makes them interested. But as that group has dwindled, I think the interest on their end has also dwindled. The amount of concerned parties and attendance of the meetings kind of drives the conversation of whether or not they're going to move forward with any concern in that regard.
You talked about a swimming pool. Where are you on that?
Well, I mean, we've
50,
always
80,
wanted one.
90? Has your wife told you what you're going to do yet?
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But it was something that we've always been concerning with anyway. Our deck is long in the tooth. It's got some damage areas. We're going to rip it up anyway. So kind of thinking in that regard, if we go that route, then, you know, the only thing that I'm really going to miss is my view of the water coming off the side. I'm actually higher than my neighbor, and I got a nice view of the canal that goes through there. And putting up a fence, I think, might block some of that. So I don't know. We're going to see how we're going to talk about it and see where we end up with all that.
Okay, I understand. But that's something that's not you haven't submitted for a pool permit or anything along those lines, but.
At this point in time, It's just something, it's a want. I'm being voluntold, you know?
Okay, understandable. All right, thank you, sir.
As it sits, you know, like I said, I kind of figured what my outcome was going to be coming in front of the board today, but, you know, I wasn't going to not show up, so figured I'd come here and at least be part of the conversation, and it is what it is, I understand that, but if we could figure out a way that we could do a fence within the 10-foot barrier instead of the 40-foot, then, you know, I do have a nice row of foliage that would be in front of that, and I think it would look good if we chose to go that route opposed to putting a pool in.
Meaning that you're looking at being 10 feet off of the property line?
So off my property line, I'm currently 6 feet with unusable space because of foliage and arborvitae's as it is. So I figure adding a fence right behind that, I could keep the arborvitae's on the public side of the fence, and if I chose to do any sort of architectural lighting, you know, we could go that route and kind of make it look decent.
Okay.
I've been agonizing over this for what, 4 or 5 months now, and I get it. I see your issues. And my soft heart says, you deserve these things. And then when I read the ordinance, I go, well, you don't deserve these things technically according to the ordinance. When you mentioned the fence again just now about, you wanted to put the fence 6 feet back?
Well, I think the only thing I could request is the 10-foot, to have it treated like a backyard.
Right, I mean, if it was 10 feet back, then you could do whatever you wanted.
Right, but I
If you
can't
pull-
right now because I got a road on both sides. It's technically 40 feet, 40 feet.
Okay. All right. Thank you, that's all.
Well, before there's any motions or any voting or anything, I want to say, and I'm sincere about this, I appreciate your attitude. I appreciate the way you've treated and dealt with this board. A lot of people come in here and if they aren't astoundingly successful, they don't hide their disappointment very well. But you and your wife coming in meeting after meeting and going away without what you came here to get, it says a lot about you as a citizen that you're level as you are with it, and I personally appreciate it. Mr. Naskis, have anything else?
No, I ditto your comments, though. Thank you.
No. We can entertain a motion if we are so inclined.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Cook?
Mr. Martin, how close are you to this pool decision?
It's early stages of conversation.
Okay. And the reason I asked that question is because there's nothing that says you can't postpone again until you get, because based upon the feeling that's coming from the podium, if you will, the pool would at least present a different side of this argument. So that's that's not advice, it's just a statement that I wanted to share with you, so.
Yeah, at the same time, I need to be courteous of those that need to come in front of the board for more practical reasons, I appreciate, you know. I appreciate it, but I don't think I'm going to postpone this anymore.
All right, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Mr. Naskis?
In the matter of ZBA case AB 2022-30, Adam Martin, 2923 Saturn Drive, Sidwell 0920453024, I move that the petitioner's request for 3 variances from zoning ordinance 78 zoned R2, Article 27, Section 27.02A4, and Article 27, Section 27.05 H2. Number 1, a 35-foot front yard setback variance from the required 35 feet to erect a 6-foot privacy fence 0 feet from the property line along Walden Road. 2, a 10-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10 feet to erect a 6-foot privacy fence 0 feet from the property line to the east. And 3, a 10-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10 feet to erect a 6-foot privacy fence 0 feet from the side property line to the west. B, denied. Because the petitioner has not been able to demonstrate that there is a practical difficulty that could not be resolved with perhaps a 4-foot fence and greenery to accomplish the purpose of keeping intruders out of the yard and visual protection for the property. The petitioner did not establish or unique or exceptional circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved that do not apply generally to other properties in the same district or zoning area, as we have seen by the number of houses that are in exactly the same situation with a front and backyard, 2 front yards, and along Walden Road. The variance is not necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right possessed by the property in the same zone or vicinity based on the following. Again, going back to number 1, that, a 4-foot fence would prevent intruders, and shrubbery can be used to reduce noise and to improve the view. The granting of the variance or modification will be detrimental to the public welfare and materially injurious to properties or improvements of such zone or district on which the property is based on the following, and that is that the construction of 6-foot fences is not allowed by the ordinance for the reason that we try to keep an open landscape in the community, and that does not serve that purpose. And further, based on the findings of the following facts, which are not applicable to this case.
Chairman, I'll support, provided that we add that this case was postponed from August 8th and also October 10th, 2022 meetings.
Thank you.
Yep.
Accepted.
Anything else from the board? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mrs. Danaskis and a support by Mr. Cook. Please call the roll.
Diane Danaskis, no, yes. Tony Cook,
Yes.
Don Walker,
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes.
Sir, your
You're-
motion is denied. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr.
No, that's okay. Well, thank you again for coming in. If your circumstances change, if you put a pool in, I don't know. I can't tell you, oh, you'll get what you need. You won't. But again, I appreciate we just don't have any maneuvering room. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you, sir.
Next up, we have Ken Backus. AB 2022-31, Ken Backus at 2911 Walmsley Circle, Sidwell 09-452-013. Postponed from August, October, and December meeting. Petitioner seeking 3 variances from zoning ordinance 78, zoned R2, Article 27, Section 27.02, A4, and Article 27, Section 27.05, H2. Number 1 is a 35-foot front yard setback variance from the required 35 feet to erect a 6-foot privacy fence 0 feet from the property line along Walden. A 10-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10 feet to erect a 6-foot privacy fence 0 feet from the side property line to the east. And a 10-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10 feet to erect a 6-foot privacy fence 0 feet from the side property line to the west. We do not have a petitioner, and the petitioner, to the best of my knowledge, made no attempt to contact the office. I would ask that the board consider taking this off the agenda for future meetings.
And Mr. Chair, my recollection, he did not attend the last adjournment that we gave to everybody else, just because we were nice and gave it to him, and he wasn't here for that even.
That is true.
So
That is true.
he seems to have lost interest.
So do we set up, do we make motions to deny it? Or do we make motions to take it off the,
We'll ask the professional here.
I think you can, deny it. It's, no applicant or.
okay? What do you folks think?
Yeah. 'Cause this is his second time, you said, right?
He's been in this
I
is
think, isn't it? 'Cause wasn't he here at the original?
August, October, and December, he was
So this would be the
supposed to
third.
be here. This will be his fourth.
Okay.
So can we motion to remove it from the, or do we have to deny
You
it?
have to rule on it.
Rule on it?
Yeah.
No, nobody to ask questions of, so if we got a motion, we're prepared to move forward with.
Should we just somehow cancel it rather than denying it because he's not here? Saying he is not here and therefore you're removing it from the agenda? Does that make more
I
sense?
think,
or-
you know, because to deny it.
I mean, it's like we've rendered a decision on the facts, but we
Yeah,
really
no,
haven't
I
done
think
that.
canceling it would be better, if I give you two options, you can do either or.
Okay.
I think canceling it. Or,
Sounds like the bones of a motion there.
There's- Mr. Chair,
Mr. Walker.
in the matter of AB 202231, Ken Backus, 2911 Walmsley Circle Drive, 0920432-013. This matter's been adjourned on 3 separate occasions. It's been postponed from August 8th, 22, October 10th, 22, and December 12th, 22. And according to my recollection, Mr. Backus did not show at the December meeting, and I'm not sure he was here even before that, because of the innumerable postponements. I would move that we remove this item from the agenda based upon the absence of the petitioner on now 4 occasions.
Support?
We have a motion by Mr. Walker, support by Mrs. Janaskis. Please call the roll.
Don Walker?
Yes.
Tony Cook?
No.
Diane Deniskis, yes. Dan Durham?
Yes, motion carries. It is removed. Moving to our next case, AB 2023-01, Ricardo Skakal, and I'll ask you to clarify when you get to the podium. At 540 North Newman, Sidwell 09-04-126-011. Petitioner is seeking 2 variances from zoning ordinance 78, zoned SE, Article 27, Section 27.02A8. First one is a 1,000 square foot variance above the allowed 1,400 square foot maximum floor area of all detached accessory buildings to build a 2,400 square foot pole barn. Number 2 is a 1,912 square foot variance above the allowed 1,900 square feet maximum floor area of all accessory buildings to build a 2,400 square foot pole barn in addition to an existing 1,400 12-foot attached garage. Sir, introduce yourself and let us know what you'd like to do, please.
Hi, my name is Ricardo Skakel. I'm the owner of 540 North Newman. I'm here to request a approval, a variance to build a pole barn. Basically, I've owned the property since 2010. When I bought the property, I actually tore down and built a new home, and what came with the property was an old dilapidated accessory structure. It's an old garage on the side. Fast forward 12, 13 years, I've been considering doing something with the building. I've got some equipment, some maintenance equipment that I've been storing. And basically, I thought, I need to get the equipment inside. It's starting to deteriorate pretty bad. My equipment's rusting. I've got animals chewing everything up. I figured if I was gonna do something with the building, I really'd like to put up a pole barn to get the equipment inside of a weatherproof structure. I would be tearing down the garage, so I would be replacing the garage with a pole barn if approved. And the other part I'd like you to consider is that we've got a lot of land. We've got almost 7.5 acres. So one of the things we've been talking about is maybe having some chickens and some, planting more trees and doing some agricultural stuff with the land. That's why I'm here, to ask for approval for the pole barn.
Couple quick questions. The information mentions a 1,412-foot attached garage. You have that attached garage and then another one, and that one's coming down?
Yes.
Okay,
That is correct. Yeah, the 1412 is a 3-car attached, and then the 400 plus 300 is detached on the side.
that one's going away.
It will go away, yes.
Good, thank you. Board members?
Thank you, first of all, for marking so well where what the footprint will be.
Oh, you saw
of
it,
the
yeah.
building. That's really helpful when we come out and take a look at it. And for the diagram to show what you're planning to store, and there you have a lot of equipment. And I did see, the condition of the garage and where it's being stored, and it's obviously still exposed.
Yeah.
The equipment's still very exposed to the elements, so.
I do notice, and you probably have it already, from the fire department.
Yep.
That they would like you to discuss that gate so that they could have entry in the event that they pull up and it's closed.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you, because he expresses no other concerns other than the gate.
Yeah, the gate is always open, but yes, I will talk to the fire department and make sure that they have access.
Thank you.
Mr. Skakel, what kind of equipment are you going to store in the barn?
I've got a flatbed trailer for the skid steer, a dump trailer for moving trees and dirt and things, a large tractor, my travel trailer, and my truck. I've got a picture of the equipment.
Right, it's that equipment that you have on the property right now in the picture.
Everything that is in the picture exists, and that would be exactly, I did the best to absolutely minimize the size needed to exactly what is required to store the equipment.
And what do you use that equipment for?
Well, for example, if you're out on the property, the most recent occurrence is we had a tree fall across and block the driveway, blocking ingress and egress. Occasionally we have trees that fall into the road from my property, blocking the road. I plowed the snow a couple weeks ago. We clear things out of the creek. We might get an occasional deer on the fence. So I had back surgery a few years ago, and I don't do anything manual. Everything I do with equipment, heavy equipment now.
Thank you.
Mr. Sekel?
Akel.
Skakel, my apologies. Again, I'm going to echo Mr. Naskis on marking it out. That was really nice to see that, and that helps us a lot. I also wanted to compliment you on your write-up to answering the questions. But one of the things that I do have a concern about is when you talk about the equipment that you're using, this is a question. Do you have a business that involves that equipment also?
No, I'm a mechanical engineer, so my day job is I work for Chrysler. I'm a full-time office worker. I'm an engineer, so I like cars and equipment and things. But no, that is 100% personal use on occasion to maintain the property.
Then I also noticed on the fence, on the entryway on the gate, there is a fire department emblem. Is that a lockbox, or what is that?
There was a point in time when I was locking the gate. It actually became so problematic with kids and friends and family. I just left it open, but that was an emergency entrance for the fire department. So they did not need a keypad number to get in there. They could just pull that and it would open the gate automatically.
Okay, so that's not a, okay.
It's for emergency entrance, but like I said, I leave it open now 100%. I guess I could add that I do use the equipment to help the neighbors. Most recently, I plowed the neighbor's driveway with, she's an elderly lady, so I use that to clear snow and that kind of stuff.
They appreciate it. I used to do that at my last residence. There were 3 widow ladies within sight of my house. I ended up doing 4 driveways every time it snowed. But
Yeah, it helps. She's got a long driveway. Her driveway's not as long as mine, but it's long, and she needs help.
if we have nothing additional, we could entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Naskis?
In the matter of ZBA case AB 2023-01, Ricardo Skakel, is that correct?
Skakel.
Skakel. 540 North Newman, Sidwell 0904126011. I move that the petitioner's request for 2 variances from zoning ordinance 78 zoned SE, Article 27, Section 27.02, A8, 1, a 1,000 square foot variance above the allowed 1,400 square feet maximum floor area of all detached accessory buildings to build a 2,400 square foot pole barn. 2, a 1,912 square feet variance above the allowed 1,900 square feet maximum floor area of all accessory buildings to build a 24 square foot pole barn in addition to an existing 1,412 foot attached garage. Be granted, because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variances have been met in this case, and that they set forth facts which show that in this case, the petitioner does show the following practical difficulty. In that this is a large tract of property which requires equipment in order to maintain it. And in addition, the petitioner also supports neighbors in his area by providing the service of using that equipment for their convenience and safety. 2, the following are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved that do not apply generally to other properties in the same district or zone. Again, this is a large tract, almost 7 acres, which does require exceptional amount of equipment, and the petitioner also has a physical reason for needing to use equipment to manage his property. The variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right possessed by others in the same area or vicinity based on the following fact. Again, if the property is to be maintained properly and kept in good condition, you need to utilize the equipment that's necessary to accomplish that. The granting of this variance or modification will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or materially injurious to the property or the improvement in such zone or district in which the property is located. This will not have an effect on the surrounding area. The property is, again, a large tract of property. This building is located in a manner and in a place that will not impair anything on other people's view or and their property rights. Further, based on the following findings or facts, the granting of the variance would not impair adequate supply of light, air to adjacent properties, would not unreasonably increase congestion in public streets, would not increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety, would not unreasonably diminish or impair established property values within the surrounding area, or in any other aspect impair public health, safety, comfort, morals, or welfare of the inhabitants of the township.
I will support if you'll consider, and the gentleman agreed to it already, just adding a stipulation that he needs to contact the fire department relative to that gate as part of this.
I agree.
Okay, accepted, thank you.
Very good. We have a motion by Mr. Nascus, support by myself. Anything further from the board? Mr. Cook?
Yes, sir. There was no reference to removing the two other buildings.
The red building, I agree to take it down.
Right, but
We'll
it's
put that in.
not part of the motion, though.
Okay, and we'll make this motion conditional upon the removal
Of the 480 square foot detached garage along with the 312 square foot carport.
Yep.
This would be part of the motion.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Be Mike tonight. It's date stamped, received on January 6, 2023.
That's the thing, though. That's a good catch.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, and it has been amended and supported by Mr. Cook. Mr. Walker, you have anything else? Please call the roll.
Don Walker.
Yes.
Diane Danascus, yes. Tony Cook.
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes. Motion passes. You're on your way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Take
All right.
care.
Just have a-
Nice night.
Mr. Skakel, I have a question totally unrelated to what you just asked for. How many homes did they build around the Paint Creek Golf Course?
Many.
I was a member there many years ago, and it brought back memories of just driving down that bumpy Newman Road to get to your house. And then I decided to take a little tour of the neighborhood, and it didn't look the same anymore.
So we moved in 2010.
Right.
And it wasn't as built, they were building, but it
But not-
wasn't as built up. Now, they filled it with around the entire golf course. Yeah, it's amazing. It's very, I feel very lucky because my property and then Jimmy Green, who's right behind me, he's got 10 acres and I've got 7.5. But that's it. That's like the only two big pieces of land on that.
Right.
road. Everything else is just built up. It's amazing. It's actually a shame because, I mean, it's beautiful land out there, but they're just stacking those houses in there, so. But I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
I'm curious on that lower portion, like from the front of your home, the land kind of drops down. Is that stay dry or is that kind of a floodplain?
On occasion,
Yeah.
on a rare occasion, a few years ago, it flooded a little bit, so Paint Creek will come up and come over sometimes. That probably explains why they didn't parcel it up and didn't build on that, but it's beautiful. I mean, you know, the grass is so lush and green down there in the summertime because of that. It's beautiful. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good evening. Next, we have public comments without any public communication. We have a memo regarding canceling the February 27th ZBA meeting for lack of cases. We could have a motion to that effect, that'd be lovely.
Mr. Chairman?
Move that we cancel the
We have
February 27th meeting due to lack of no cases.
Mr. Chairman, we also need to review the annual report and accept it.
How did I skip that? I've got it laying right here. Where did I skip? Oh, it was the bottom of the last page.
Yeah.
All right, let's finalize this motion and then we'll double back. Have a motion by Mr. Walker to cancel the 27th meeting. I will support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is canceled. Now, thank you for the catch. Double back to the annual report, which we have here in front of us. I imagine we've all had a chance to look at it. We kept fairly busy last year. We didn't need this to tell us that, but
I am proud of us that we denied a quarter of the requests. I didn't think we were that tough. I'm happy to see that.
if discussion by the board, do we have any concerns? Me either. So I guess we'll have a motion to, if we could, to file it and move it forward to the Board of Trustees.
Mr. Chair, I move to receive and file the 2022 Zoning Board of Appeals Annual Report and forward a copy to the Board of Trustees.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Cook, or by Mr. Walker, supported by Mr. Cook.
Well.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, it is done. Now we'll go back to the back page. We got the meeting canceled. We don't have committee reports or anything?
Not from my committee.
Member comments, the only thing, I will first of all start out by thanking the board for their hard work, as always. And secondly, we have a joint meeting that apparently has been scheduled for the 22nd of March. All the different boards, I think, will be in that room where those folks are. And they put a statement in there that if anyone has anything they'd like to see on the agenda, get it into Lynn. So whether it be fences or trees or complicated motions that were supposed to be maybe modified a little, might be something worth talking about. So if we are there all that time, we don't have to just have trustee and planning commission business. We might have something that can work for us. That's all I have. Anything further by the board?
For me,
No comments? Okay, motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry. I do have one comment.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to go back on the second
When he doesn't
case
wanna go home.
for Mr. Backus.
Yes.
My objection was procedural as opposed to on the case itself. I agree totally with what we did or what the result was, but I just wasn't sure about the procedure.
you didn't hurt my feelings.
No, it wasn't personal. It's always business.
It's always personal.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
If we have nothing additional.
That's why we have a board, though. Well, we have a board for difference of opinions.
There's nobody here or that's ever been here that I haven't voted against
I
several
don't think
times.
denying it would have been good because you would need, they couldn't have come back for a lesser variance. They'd have to.
Oh, it's off the deck. If somebody puts it back on, we'll deal with it then.
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn and I'll support it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're done. Thank you.